Data analysis in R. Let's start with bivariate data. Bivariate data. So a sample of 10 claims and corresponding payments on settlement for household, policies is taken from the business of an insurance company. Okay, let's import this file. So first setting our directory setwd, and the file is contained in this file. So I just replacing okay. Run this. Now let's store the data in df1. Read dot table, and the file is linear data file. So linear data file dot txt, and we need to write header equals to true because my file already has headers. Okay, so now let's see what is df1. So it is the data of claim and payment as said. Okay, now how do we plot a scatter graph? Starting with scatter graph. So plot df1. You just write plot df1. See, plot the payment, and the payments are in the y-axis and the claims in the x-axis. Okay, default are points. See, the default type is P, which is points, which is in black color. Okay, and their headers have been assigned as the axis names. Okay, you can change these point character options. Okay, you can change this point character options. So for by PCH, if you said PCH is equal to say 8, so see, this becomes something like stars. Okay, if you said PCH equals to 3, they become plus signs. Okay, and this PCH value can take values up to 25. Okay, so there are 25 types of characters. You can see opposite triangles have been formed, and so on. Okay, this is depending on you. Next, I'll just go back with my, say I'll use plus signs. Okay, so this is also linear data. Can you see there's a positive relation between the two claims and payments, and they are rising. Okay, and how do we add a title to a graph? Main equals to this. We have done a lot of times earlier also. Settlement payment for claims. Okay, so see, I get the header, and you can also change the color as you want, and you can also change the thickness of the points also. If you write LWD equals to 2, see, the points become thicker. Okay, more visible, properly visible. Okay, then I have a this was linear data. Now let's do the plotting, same thing with a non-linear data, and let's see how is the graph. So see, my non-linear data is a CSV file, so I will store that in df2. df2 is equal to say read.csv and non-linear .csv. You can, if you want, you can write header equals to true, but by default CSV files takes header equals to true. Okay, so see, this is the leverage ratio and this is the interest Great. Now let's plot this. So plot df2. So there's something like this, exponential data. Okay, let's make this also better. Say PCH, I'm not changing, like LWD is equals to say 2 and main is equal to non-linear data. Okay, so see, it's something like exponential this way. It's not a linear data. Okay, if we want to make this non-linear data to linear, how do we see it? How do we make it? We log the interest rate. Okay, so how do we do it? Let's do say df2 log, I'm just naming it again, is equals to, since it's a data frame, I will write data.frame df2 comma 1. We can write like this, data.frame leverage, it has to be the same, leverage dot ratio is equal to df2 comma 1 and interest dot rate is equal to log of, I'm writing in the next line, log of df2 comma 2. Okay, and now run this. Okay, now see what is df2 log. So we have logged these values, not leverage ratios but the interest rates. Okay, and now plot df2 log. Let's increase our width, that's better, LWD equals to 2. So can you see, now it's much more linear, not perfectly linear but much more linear than earlier. Okay, next, moving on, we'll now work with linear data which we have, the bivariate data, claim and payments. We'll find the correlation coefficients. We have seen that there are 3 types of correlation coefficients. First is Pearson, then we have Spearman, and third is Kendall. Okay, 3 types of correlation coefficients are there. So how do we obtain the correlation coefficients? It's like this. The syntax is COR, core, which we have done earlier also, data and method equals to. Okay, this method can take 3 values, either Pearson or core data, method equals to Spearman, or it can take method equals to Kendall. Okay, and data will be whatever data which we need to find the correlation between. Okay, so let's do, how do we specify correlation of data? Means our df1, we'll work with df1 entire now, df1. So it is claim and payment which we need to plot. So how do we write? Actually data means here there should be an x and there should be a y with it. Remember, we plot 2 variables, we find correlation between 2 variables. Okay, so df1 and df2. So core of df1 comma 1 and df1 comma 1 and df1 comma 2. Between these 2 variables I need to, the claim and payments, I need to find the correlation between there, and say method equals to Pearson, all in small letters. Okay, by default also it is Pearson, so you do not need to specify. So it is C 0.958238. That means a very high positive correlation is there. Okay. How do you work with Spearman? You just change the method. Control V and it becomes Spearman. See, it is a high 0.9636. And similarly for Kendall also, we'll just change the method to Kendall. So we get, in all the three we get the high positive correlation, only Kendall has the lowest value. Now let's do Pearson method from scratch. If we had to use the formula which we have learned in theory. So I am storing in X DF1 claim, and in Y I am storing DF1 payment. I am storing these two in two different arrays. Okay. Now we calculate SXX. So what was SXX? It is sum of X minus X bar whole square. So sum of X minus mean of X to the power 2. Okay. Summation X minus X bar whole square. So X minus mean of X whole square and then a sum of it. Okay. This is our SXX. Then we get SYY. Then we have SYY, which is again equal to sum of Y minus mean of Y whole square. This is our SYY. Let's see the value of SXX. It is 8.44 and SYY is 7.15811. Okay. Next is we calculate SXY. So sum of X minus mean of X into Y minus mean of Y. Okay, whole bracket close. This is SXY. This is 7.4502. Okay, and what is the correlation coefficient? According to the formula, R is nothing but SXY divided by SQRT of SXX into SYY. Correct? And let's see what is R. C 0.958238, which we had got from method equals to Pearson. So you can directly use the correlation formula also, and this is called the scratch method, the way we do in theory. Okay, we have done Spearman. Now Spearman correlation coefficient, we know the Spearman correlation coefficient is nothing but the Pearson correlation coefficient applied to the ranks. Correct? So let's do this. We could have also done correlation of rank of to find out the Spearman correlation coefficient. The alternative method is rank of DF1, 1, rank of DF1, 2, and method equals to our default is Pearson. So see, if you do this, we are getting the same as the Spearman correlation coefficient. So Spearman correlation coefficient alternatively you could find like this also. Okay, and now we'll do it from scratch. The way we use our theoretical formula, we have our X and Y stored. SXX, XYY, SXY is taken out. What is there? Let's calculate N. N is nothing but the length of any of either length of X or length of Y. Okay. D is X minus Y. D will be X minus Y, which we do, and then we calculate 1 minus 6 into sum of, okay, X and Y have claims. D is obviously the rank, difference between the ranks, so we need to take out the ranks. Let's overwrite X and Y. Rank of DF1 claim and rank of DF1 payment. Okay, let's store these two in y. Now let's run d, and then we have 1 minus 6 into summation of d square, correct, whole divided by n into n square minus 1. See, I am getting the same answer, 0.9636364. This is the Spearman correlation coefficient. Now Kendall correlation coefficient we have already calculated out. Done. Now whatever, let's calculate the correlation coefficient for our.
I can learn to understand you much better if I can get familiar with the.
Let's do correlation coefficient inference, the testing of the correlation coefficient inference. How do we test? There's a formula called core.test. Okay, we'll test the Pearson correlation coefficient inference, okay, using core.test. Our data is obtained. Okay, how do we use core.test? See, core.test, and you write df1 comma 1 comma df2 comma 2, and we write method equals to Pearson. Okay, so this will test. See what do I get? See, this is Pearson's product movement correlation test. Okay, and it is testing between the two whether my correlation is 0 or not. Oh, this is df1, I have done df2, this is df1. Okay, see the correlation value was 958238. Okay, then I am getting a p value of almost 0. P value 0 means less than 0.05. So we reject the null hypothesis. We reject the null hypothesis. What does the null hypothesis say? See, let's do the null hypothesis. We can pull the null hypothesis. How do we pull? Let's store this within test, and then if you write names of test, you will see what values you can pull. So see, you can pull statistic, parameter, p value, estimate, null dot value. So let's obtain null dot value, test dollar null. Also if you write, you will get 0. So the null hypothesis is correlation is equal to 0. Okay, the null hypothesis is correlation is equal to 0. So p value is less than 0.05. That means we reject the null hypothesis. We reject correlation not equal to 0, and we can see that the correlation is not 0. Okay, we have correlation between the two variables. Okay, the correlation test assumes that the two variables are independent. Okay, but here the two variables are dependent on each other. There is a correlation between them. Okay, you can also give, by default alternative is two-sided. Okay, by default, see, the alternative hypothesis is stated in the test. True correlation is not equal to 0. That means it's a two-sided test. Okay, if you want only one-sided, we can write the way we did in hypothesis testing, same way, alternative equals to, you can write two-dot-sided, less or greater. Okay, and again we can also specify the confidence interval. So if I want a 99% confidence interval, this is a 95% test, this is a 95% confidence interval test. If you want a 99%, you have to state conf equals to 0.99. Conf is equals to 0.99. If we write this and I run the test, see, it's a 99% confidence interval test now. Okay, and again my p value is less than. Test. So we saw p value is again very less, it's almost 0. 1.265 into 10 to the minus. So again we reject the null hypothesis that the correlation is equal to 0. We have correlation between the two variables. Okay, and we get the confidence interval also, Ci. You can see Okay, let's move on. We can extract so many values. Okay, you can extract the p value also directly. We have done all this in in hypothesis testing. The test dollar p dot value will give me the p value. Okay, test dollar statistic will give me the test statistic value. Okay, it will give me the test statistic value. Test dollar DOF will give me the degrees of freedom. Oh sorry, degrees of freedom, DOF is not there. Let's see. Yeah, DOF you cannot pull. You can pull parameter. Parameter will give me the degrees of freedom. Test dollar parameter will give me the degrees of freedom, 8. Okay. Next, let's do this correlation coefficient interference from scratch method, the way we used to do in theory. So again, storing X is DF1 dollar claim and Y as DF1 dollar payment. Okay, and we have calculated SXX. So let's just bring those down again and run them. So these are the values, SXX, SYY and SXY. Okay, and then we calculate our R. We have stored our R also. Just let's bring those down. Saves time. So R is this value. Now our test statistic is what? If you see from theory, test statistic is given to us as R into SQRT of n minus 2. R into SQRT of n minus 2 divided by SQRT of 1 minus R square. Okay, it's given in theory. This is the test statistic. Okay, we have an bracket error, R square. Okay, now let's see what is the test statistic value. The test statistic value is 9.47753, which we could see from here also. Okay, and this is a two-sided test. So how do we find out the p value? We find 2 into pt and the statistic. Degrees of freedom will be equal to how much? We need to store n, which we did not store. N is length of x. Okay, so and degrees of freedom will be n minus 2. It follows t n minus 2 distribution, and we need lower equals to false. Okay, I need the greater one. Okay, so our p value is 1.26523, which we saw earlier also from our test, and this value is much less than 0.05, which will help, which means we reject the null hypothesis that correlation is 0. Okay, one more test for this is Fisher's transformation. Fisher's transformation, correlation coefficient interference. So we do not have any function in R for that. Okay, let's test if rho or R is 0.95. Okay, let's say if R is 0.95, test if R is 0.95. So n is again n rho of df1 or any value you can take. N was, R is our correlation of df1 dollar claim, comma df1 dollar payment. Okay, and what is our z? If the Fisher's transformation, if you see, it is A tan h of R, A tan h of R minus A tan h of 0.95, the value which you want to test for divided by SQRT of 1 divided by n minus 3. Okay, so this is our Fisher's transformation, and Z, this is the value of the test statistic. Okay, and we need to find out the p value for this. So 2 into, this follows normal distribution, 2 into p norm Z, and lower dot tail equals to false. Lower dot tail equals to false. So our p value is 0.807, which is much greater than 0.05. So we do not reject H naught, that rho is equals to 0.95. Okay, we do not reject H naught. We had already seen our rho is equal to 0.958. So we do not reject H naught, that rho is equal to 0.95. Okay. Next, Spearman correlation coefficient inference. Spearman correlation using core dot test. Okay, we'll test that if if there is any relationship. If there is any relationship between the two variables, the same way which we test for Pearson also, and again we'll do a 95% two-sided test. Okay, so let's do this. How did we do? Core dot test DF1 dollar claim, comma DF1 dollar payment, and then we write method equals to Spearman. So it will test the Spearman correlation coefficient. So DF1, okay. See, Spearman's rank correlation rho data statistic value is 6, p value is less than 2.2 e to the power minus 16, that means almost 0, and our alternative hypothesis is true rho is not equal to 0. Our estimate of the distribution is this. So since p value is much less than 0.05, so we reject H naught, that the two variables do not have any correlation. Here also the test statistics, test dollar null, if you do, let's store this in, say test of A. Okay, test A, I am storing this, and if you do test A dollar null, so we get rho equal to 0. The null hypothesis was rho equal to 0, and we say reject H naught. That means the null hypothesis says that we say that the correlation coefficient is not equal to 0. Okay. Next, Kendall correlation coefficient inference using core dot test is same way. Core dot test, we use core dot test DF1 dollar claim, DF1 dollar payment, and we use method equals to Kendall. Okay, so see, it checks for Kendall's rank correlation tau. Here also p value is 0.001152, which is much less than 0.05. So we reject H naught, that our correlation between the two variables is 0. We reject that H naught. See, the tau value is 0.8667. Okay, so this was linear data correlation coefficient testing in R.